It's like that he picked up my finger and left me in the basement to suffer alone in agony. The pain clouded my brain and made it hard to think straight. Blood still poured from my hand, coating the chair arm before dripping to the floor. After what felt like hours, I passed out from the pain and blood loss. I woke up once more and saw that my hand was bandaged with a dirty cloth. I looked up to see a horrific sight. In front of me sat a table with human body parts laid on it. The body parts were so mutilated you almost couldn't tell it belonged to a person. I gagged at the sight. Was he a cannibal? In his hands were a bowl and spoon. He was stirring the spoon in the bowl and turned towards me. Upon seeing I was awakened, he came over to me. The smell was putrid and I could feel my stomach turning at the sight of the contents of the bowl. I turned away, but he grabbed my face and forced my mouth open. He shoved the spoon in my mouth. It was horrible and tears filled my eyes. I spit the contents back out and vomited. He looked unhappy that I didn't eat it. He set the bowl down and walked over to a wall which held multiple tools. He grabbed some pliers and came back over to me. "What are you gonna do?" I asked, breathless. He didn't answer as he pulled off 3 of my fingernails. Tears fell from my eyes, and I screamed. His smile widened, and he laughed his creepy sick laugh. He didn't mind me and simply grabbed my fingernails, leaving me alone once more. Blood dripped from my fingertips. I hung my head low from exhaustion. Just how long have I been here? Out of sheer desperation, I moved my injured hand and, much to my surprise, it was easier to move than my other hand, perhaps due to the blood that coated it. I twisted and turned my hand slowly, releasing it from its bindings a little at a time. My hand and arm ached from the tight pull of the bindings, but after what felt like forever, my hand was free. I panted from the pain and held my hand close to my chest to relieve some of the pain. I then released my other hand and feet from the bindings. I rushed for the door, but it was locked. I searched around the basement, the dim light of the bulb being my only salvation. In one of the corners, I found a flashlight in a box. I flipped it on and was able to see considerably better. The basement floor was covered in old blood stains and rotten pieces of flesh, presumably human flesh. I dry heaved and focused on finding a weapon I could use. Unfortunately, whenever he left, he took his tools he had on the wall with him. I searched around and miraculously found a crowbar he left behind. I unscrewed the light bulb from its socket and fell into total darkness except for the light from the flashlight. I hid in a concealed area behind the door and waited for him to come back. After a while I heard heavy footsteps and readied myself in the encompassing darkness. The metal door screeched open, and he stepped into the basement. Perhaps due to the unexpected darkness in the once poorly lit basement, he paused. I used it to my advantage and swung the crowbar as hard as I could against the back of his head. He grunted and fell over. I ran up the stairs, tripping over some uneven boards, and came out into an old, run-down, and decrepit house. I rushed through the house and barged through the front door. I ran into the chilly night air. I could hear sounds from within the house and dread filled me. How was he up already? I ran blindly through the woods, tripping over tree roots and slipping on leaves covered in dew. I stepped on something cold and metallic, and before I had time to react,